Hi, this is Deborah Peters, and welcome back to my podcast, Neuroscience for Success, and this new series, The Journey of the Mastery of Your Mind, and my very fabulous British co-host, Richard Daniel Curtis. Say hello.
Hello.
So great to have you join us, and thank you for liking and sharing and commenting and getting our podcast and our vlog out to the world so that we can help millions and millions of people across the planet. Very, very grateful for that. And so today our podcast is called What is Mindfulness? And we would love to give you as many insights into this concept because it's a trend. It's a trend, Richard, and everybody's talking about it. It's a big deal now in corporations, and it's a buzzword. It's all over the internet. So mindfulness, what is mindfulness to you, Richard?
Really interesting. Do you know what? I love this topic because actually, I was having a conversation with a publisher a few months ago, and they were asking me to write a book on mindfulness. I was like, "What do you think mindfulness is?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we know it's popular, so we want a book on it, please." I said, "Oh, okay, interesting. What sort of book do you want?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know. Can you tell us?" Um, And it's fascinating because mindfulness has become a bit of a buzzword. There are so many different little nuances. Um, and I don't know if you have it over there in the States, but certainly over here, we see, I'm going to say almost like two levels of mindfulness. Um, we see general mindfulness, which is about, I'm going to say the true, purest meaning of mindfulness, about being in the moment, being mindful of the moment, whether it's just enjoying yourself in some colouring or a jigsaw or something like that, and just enjoying being in the moment and being mindful of what's happening and how it feels at a moment in time. Or there's likewise, there's over here we have lots of training courses, and there's particularly one set of training courses that everyone's like, oh, you must have done this particular training course in order to do mindfulness, and that's a lot more structured and almost a lot deeper experience of mindfulness, where it's more focused on, okay, well, let's focus on today. We're going to focus on what are you holding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I just get excited when we're when we're doing this, and so yes, I agree. It is so much about being in present time. What what could be more mindful? Full of the mind, right? What could be more mindful than being in present time? And so I think of mindfulness like this. So our thoughts create how we feel, and how we feel creates the experiences that we attract to us. And so the way I look at mindfulness is you have to be, you have to care enough about how you feel to take stock and observe and shift your thought moment by moment, nanosecond by nanosecond. And that to me is mindfulness. I think if I had an opportunity to write a meaning and a description for mindfulness in a dictionary, that's what I would put. So it's being in present time so you can pay attention to how you feel, and then caring enough about how you feel that you are willing and you desire to shift your thinking on the fly, because you're fully aware that what you think creates how you feel, and how you feel determines the results that you get in your life. And therefore, you're mindful. You like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's interesting whenever we talk, it's we. always use very slightly different words to mean exactly the same thing, because it is about that shift. And I particularly use mindfulness in my work to help people just to release stress or tension by focusing on the here and now, and to focus on what's happening at this moment. Um, you can also use mindfulness to overcome fear and anxiety.
Yes, and to be more resourceful in your thinking and to shift your perceptions of what you're experiencing. Because when you said that, I thought of a client. Right now, we're working with a company. They're like right on the edge of shifting. We're scaling them from small to mid-size. And one of the benefits of teaching these guys, because they're all guys and they're all partners, one of the benefit of teaching these guys mindfulness is it's helped them to shift from doubt or what if it doesn't work to being aware of how powerful they are with their thinking and their intention, their intentional projection into their strategies and their team, so that they're very cognizant and in real time of what they're creating. And then it completely demystifies the journey to success. This is the whole point that I love about using mindfulness in our business coaching program, is that it demystifies the success. You know, there's always an evidence procedure. You know, I said in one of our vlogs, success leaves clues. And so there's always an evidence procedure of, okay, here's our outcome. And now let's back it up. Let's reverse engineer it back to what the root cause was of getting that outcome. Because if you like the results, you can duplicate it, you can model it and install it in pretty much any area of your business. If you don't like the results, you can modify it and create a shift so that you don't have to deal with that again in the future, that disappointment.
Yes, it's also true what you're talking about, because actually what you're talking about is practical uses of mindfulness in terms of problem solving. And again, I mean, I do a lot more work with individuals rather than businesses than you do, and the way that I use it is not similar at all. It's very much about helping people to be in the moment, helping people to de-stress and to let go of those anxieties. Because actually, if you can't control the future, you can actually only control the present time.
Well, in your response to present time, that's where you really have the ultimate control. You know, things happen, and I just want to kind of roll off of that point for just 1 second. So everything that takes place has had a launching pad somewhere else. And so when it happens, you know, if it's a big disappointment or a deal falls through, or a strategy you roll out doesn't work, you know, how you respond to that is going to be the tipping point to how you approach the future. And so if you respond to that from a place of mindfulness, and you really look at what was inherent in that process that caused it to not work, rather than blame or fear or doubt. It's like, you know, again, success leaves clues, and so does failure, frankly. Sometimes the failure is harder to take than the success process, but the beauty of it is it's all information. See, I don't believe in failure. I believe that it's just feedback. It's just feedback. And so when you're mindful about what created the steps, then you can shift it from the root cause, and then you can be more in control. And of course, that's a perception, but you can be more in control of what you're putting forward. You can be more intentional. I think that's a better phrase. You can be more intentional.
See, so what when I'm faced with adversity or challenges, or something not going the way I wanted it to, my response is always with gratitude. So I will always, and you may know that I've written a few books on the subject of gratitude. I will always approach things from the point of view of, okay, well, what have I got to be thankful for about my current situation? Let's start off with what I'm thankful for, because then, again, it changes the way you respond to things. It instantly means that you're starting from a place of positivity. You're starting from a place of empowerment. Even when even when something's gone wrong, it's still a really fantastic place to start, and it helps you to again look at what's happened and to think, okay, what have I learned from this? How can I make sure it's not going to happen again? Because I'm grateful for things that happened to me.
I am too. And when you said empowerment, you know what it made me think of? I had an experience on Tuesday, and I kind of took a hit. I sort of got my butt kicked in a situation. So I didn't see it coming. And I walked away going, wow, I didn't see that coming. But it was a wonderful, the lemonade that I made out of those lemons is what you're talking about when you say empowerment. I walked away literally, because I had to walk a few blocks to get back to my office. And I'm rolling this thing around in my mind. I'm saying to myself, like, whoa, how did I not see that coming? And then these words started to pop for me. And it was like preparation, strategy, laying out potential outcomes, and then driving the process that I can interject into the entire situation to drive towards the outcome that I want to have the experience of. And so it's awesome. And the great thing is now I can regroup and I can go back and I can create, there's nothing lost. There's nothing lost. We might think it's over when it seems like we've had our butt kicked, but it's never over. It's never over. You could always redesign yourself. You could always reapproach a situation from a higher perspective. And many, many times you can go back in to that scenario, that situation, and you can drive home a whole new outcome. But again, it comes from that space of mindfulness. I remember I had this, I took this negotiations class way back in the day. And I remember the instructor telling this story about a contract that her company had signed with another company. And they got halfway into the deal, and she started looking at, the logistics and the numbers, and she realized she completely sold herself short and was going to come up doing this massive project and not really gaining a decent amount of profit from it for her time. And she went back in and she renegotiated that contract midstream. And I'll remember that for the rest of my life. She said, everything is renegotiable. Everything is renegotiable. And it's just all in the mindset in which you approach it from that's going to determine your ability to renegotiate anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's all about how you have trained yourself to respond to adversity, to respond to challenge.
We've talked a lot about the power of the mind and our emotional process through life and getting the results that we want. And I don't think there's enough that can be said about that. My whole study from that area, gosh, I got this great compliment yesterday. I had a meeting, and I want to do a shout out to Victor and say, hey, Victor, thank you so much for your kind words. And
Hello, Victor.
I know. Hello from the UK to Victor. And so he said something really, really powerful. I mean, this is a seasoned businessman. He's worked with many companies across California for a lifetime. And he's very sharp and he's very wise. And he said to me, you know, one of the things I've gained from watching your YouTube processes and your show is how to reignite a spark in me that's been dormant, and to have that grow inside of me with enthusiasm for what else I could do with my life than what I've been thinking I could do. And so that's the whole point. This is why Richard and I keep going on in a variety of different ways about how important it is for all of us to learn to be self-aware. And that's, you know, I believe we're born with massive self-awareness. Just because a baby comes into the world and can't walk and can't talk doesn't mean they're not self-aware. And this is, you know, where we get a little confused about those things. We think, you know, this little helpless baby, and they don't know anything about the world. Yes, but we totally underestimate the power of the unconscious mind and the evolution of the soul. And so really, truly, what happens is we learn to become unself-aware over our lifetime. And we've talked a lot about this, and we probably have a lot more to say about it. Yeah. And then you and I get these folks as clients, and now we help them unlearn. We help them unlearn these programs that they've bought into. Exactly. Just because they were repetitive programs in their lives by well-meaning people that were also kind of stuck in a fog because they're living these programs that they adopted from someone else along their path. Yeah. And it's a waking up process. So, and I want you to comment on this thought, because the way I see business is that when you're in business, it's not separate from who you are. When you're in business, it's like this. It's one and the same with you. Hopefully, if you're bringing all of you to the table, which you should be, to really live a fulfilled life. And so, Richard, let's give the viewers some direction on how to continue to cultivate and bring forward all of who they are to the table, regardless what environment they're working in or not working in, depending on how you're living your life.
Now, what you've just asked, I don't think I think we could do a whole other episode just on what you've just asked.
I totally agree. I
honestly, I'm sat here and I don't want to insult it by just giving our listeners just one thing, because actually there's a whole conversation about self-image, about self-expression, about being present. There's so many things there that actually I would say, as particularly as gosh, we are really over time today. I would say let's focus on that in our next conversation.
Let's. And I want to just roll off of what you just said, because it's an ongoing conversation, ladies and gentlemen. This is an ongoing conversation for you to have for the rest of your life with you. And I think that's a massive point to end on. You said it so well. It's carry on the conversation and choose people to have in your life that are excited and inspired to have that conversation with you. Because those are the kinds of conversations that, remember back in one podcast or vlog, and I said, you know, don't just be with people that are with you, but circle yourself with people that are for you. And that's not actually even my secret quote. That's a Joel Osteen quote from his I Am sermon. So that's really the key here, is circle yourself with people that ask questions of a higher level, and you can engage in that dialogue. So what's your one?
What's my one? My goodness me. My one today, sorry. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how long we've been going to now. My one today is take time, whenever you're faced with adversity, whenever you're faced with stress, whenever you're faced with challenge, take time to start with, what am I thankful for in response?
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And yes, I know we've been on here for a while, but we just have so much to give. So my one is, you can start over any second. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till next week, next month, next year. You can start over any moment. So if you feel yourself hitting a wall, get outdoors, go for a walk, push the reset button, maybe meditate for 10 minutes, maybe go for a run, but do something to shift, and then you can come back from a whole new, fresh perspective. So that's my one. So thank you, everyone. We love you so much, and we're so appreciative of you taking the time to watch our vlogs, share our vlogs, like our vlogs, comment on our vlogs. And for folks like Victor, if I actually have an opportunity to sit down with you and have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and hear these wonderful words of how much this is helping you, then you've truly made my life more fulfilled and this whole process very rewarding. So thank you, Richard Daniel Curtis. You're the bomb. Love you.
And you.
And have a blessed rest of the day, everyone. Take care. Ciao. Bye.